have Anthony Taylor from Happy with Par Disc Golf. Now, Anthony Taylor is a member of the Clash Disc Ambassador team. And as I get to learn more from these ambassadors and working with them, I found out that Anthony has a brand called Happy with Par. It's got a really cool logo with a basket, kind of a guy walking with a smile and everything. And I thought it would be kind of interesting to learn more about what his goal is with the brand, how it got started, how it's going with his business, what are his dreams and aspirations for the brand. And so I invited him on the show to learn a little bit more about that. Plus, I wanted someone to talk to about a few topics that were going on in disc golf, one being Gannon Buhr and Prodigy Disc, how they kind of have settled things on that and the lawsuits have gone away, and also about Disc Golf Pro Tour acquiring Jomez. I had my thoughts on it, but I wanted to get feedback from somebody else on my thoughts and get their perspective on it. So let's take a listen and hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you've been looking to try some Clash discs or just want to stock up on some of your favorite Clash discs, make sure you grab a great deal out at ClashDiscFactory.com. That's where they're sending me misprints, and I'm listing them on that website so that you can grab some great deals on some misprints. So head on out to ClashDiscFactory.com and grab some great deals on some Clash disc misprints. How are you doing today, Anthony?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me, Bobby.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you have been on Team Clash Discs, the ambassador team, for a while now, and then noticed that you had a Happy with Par disc golf company. You had some cool logos, and I see you on your Instagram selling T-shirts and hats and stuff. So you and I had been talking, and I thought, man, that would be kind of interesting to learn more about what you've got going on with Happy with Par. But first, tell us really quick the elevator pitch of you in disc golf. How did you get started?
Yeah, I got started playing disc golf just kind of through my local friend group. A lot of my buddies were already playing golf and kind of roped me into helping to do some coursework and maintenance early on. And getting out there, just sort of helping out, seeing how many more people were getting involved kind of made me want to try it out. I was not really digging it at first. Just a lot of woods courses around here, so a lot of dinking in the trees. But once I was able to kind of get down a little bit of a flat release and maybe, one big putt just kind of hooked me. And that was sometime around the beginning of 2019. And yeah, I've just been kind of fully immersed in the sport ever since.
Now, what you said there was a lot of wooded courses. Where did you say you're from?
I live in Maryland, kind of smack dab between Baltimore and Philly. So I'm right on the East Coast. The closest course that's probably notable is Iron Hill, which is in Newark, Delaware. And Iron Hill is known as being, kind of a beast, very rocky, very wooded. And that's kind of par for the course around here.
So Maryland, I can't think of the seasons with Maryland. Do you get a pretty good long disc golf season as far as warm weather to be able to get out there and play?
Yeah, I say our winter is kind of weird now, where we, it's kind of like shifted off to, I remember being a kid when, it'd snow in December, and then now we get snows in like late March, and then all of a sudden it's spring. But I'd say we get disc golf. A lot of my friend group plays all year long, but we get some good disc golf from April to November. So a lot of season to play.
Nice. All right. So what I really want to touch base on again is the Happy with Par. So you've been playing disc golf, you started liking it and things like that. Where did Happy with Par come about?
Yeah. So Happy with Par.
First, before I should ask this. What is Happy with Par? Maybe we should go there first. What the heck is Happy with Par?
Happy with Par is merchant apparel for the everyday golfer with an emphasis on PMA. PMA is positive mental attitude.
There you go.
And so the PMA pieces kind of comes from a band called Bad Brains. They're like an old school punk band from DC. Oh. And one thing that they preached was PMA, positive mental attitude, and just sort of overcoming adversity and I guess making the most of the situation. So flip back to saying that when I got started playing disc golf, I wasn't really having a great time. Just dinking trees and feeling like I was kind of struggling to get up the course or to get, up the fairway. And then a couple years later, when I started, getting it down and I'm able to hang with some of my buddies and maybe it's really wanting a birdie. And it's funny that I would go from, feeling so inept to feeling so confident that I think I should be getting birdies every time. But that was kind of just the competitive side that I was kind of brought up in the sport. So happy with par as a phrase. I don't think that I invented it by any means, but it definitely became a thing that I started saying sort of as a joke, but also trying to encourage myself. And, you trick yourself into that positive mental attitude again. Um, yeah. And it just became this journey that I kind of carried on. And so then the brand sort of started because I was making shirts for our local club, Cecil County Disc Golf, and that was cool. I felt good about that. I have a background of being in a band where I would make a lot of album artwork, flyer artwork. We're writing songs and sort of this little world in my brain to just dump all my creativity into. And when I got into disc golf and started spending all my time doing that, I really did feel like some of the creative outlet dropped off for me as I was doing a lot more physical activity, which was really good for me too. But yeah, once I started making the merch, it kind of clicked. Like, there's something here. I didn't know of a whole lot of sort of streetwear, casual kind of brands that overlapped with the disc golf thing that I was into at the time, and so that's where I thought I was kind of stepping in. Just making some fun clothes for disc golfers that you could wear off the course as well.
Nice. I like that. What type of music did your band play?
So actually, I put out a couple hip hop albums first. I did a little bit of rap in there for a minute,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, I used to MC on some DJ sets, and then me and my buddies brought our band back together from high school, and it was like punk rock with sort of a little surfy guitar vibe, maybe a little reverb, a little bit of that Dick Dale kind of thing going on. So it was a lot of just fun. We were just trying to have fun.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, I was looking. I can't remember if it's your Instagram or Facebook, but there's a picture where you got a microphone and you are like in it. You are like in the moment of singing. I was like, dang, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I used to live for that, man.
So the official logo, or is it an official logo of Happy with Par? It's kind of that basket character, right? Is
Yeah.
that something that you came up on your own, you drew, or had someone put together for you?
Yeah, so I drew that up, and it was a lot more rough looking than that. And my sort of take at the time was I was kind of thinking, just like the walking character, just, they turn any inanimate object into sort of like a human-like character. But I was really kind of feeling like sort of a Mickey Mouse vibe when I was trying to draw it up. And it kind of wasn't translating through. I could see it in my mind's eye, but I couldn't really get it down.
Yeah.
And then back when I was in a band, I had a buddy from another band who is a very talented artist. His name is Chris Gipple. He's from Annapolis, Maryland. He's done a lot of concert posters for some jam bands and stuff. Have you ever heard of Pigeons Playing Ping Pong? They were a pretty big one that he had done flyers for, and others. But he also had done some beer labels, and he was awesome, an awesome artist. So I reached out to him and kind of just sent him a photo of what I came up with and said, "You think you can clean this up for me?" And he sent me back that walking basket first take. And I knew right away, like, it was just money. I loved it.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so you started out, you're happy with Par, you're loving the whole positive mental attitude thing, and you wanted to be an apparel. Like, where did you just think, hey, I'm just going to print out a few T-shirts and see what happens, or how did you start that process?
Yeah, I just went all in, kind of. Let me think. I mean, I got the logo back, and I think I just hit up a buddy of mine in the disc golf community who was screen printing some shirts at the time, and I just asked him, "Hey, you think you can make me like 50 T-shirts?" He was like, "Yeah, sure," and then got back to me after I sent him the artwork, and he was like, I'm gonna just keep one of these shirts. Maybe I'll keep like 4 or 5 of them and give them out to a couple people up here in Delaware, because I live kind of Maryland's a small place. I can get to Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Jersey in like 30 minutes. But anyway, So I'm like, cool, man, keep them, give a couple out to, the local golfers that he had kind of been in the community for a little bit longer than me. And I was just trying to shop mine around to my local club and mostly my friends. And next thing you know, I was just selling, I sold every single one of them, and I was running it all through my personal PayPal at the time. So I probably charged like $15 for those 50 shirts, was easily able to pay off my screen printing buddy. And then just kept getting kind of people reaching out and asking me to make more. And at the time too, I made the Instagram first, and it was really just because my personal Instagram became overrun with disc golf stuff. So I was like, all right, well, I'll make this other Instagram and just post all my disc golf because that's like the only thing I'm doing right now. And I named it Happy with Par, sort of back to that joking little thing. So it all really just kind of started and just snowballed. And um, I don't know. I think the saying, a body in motion stays in motion, kind of translates to this project for me too. And it was making me feel really good, just doing something creative, getting some positive feedback. Um, so next thing you know, it's like, I guess I got to do hats now.
Now, how long ago? You may have said it. I'm sorry if I missed it. How long ago did you say you did that first run of T-shirts?
I think that was March last year.
March of last year.
Yeah.
And so you sold out of those. And did you just keep making more? Did you make more designs or?
No, I just was like, all right, well, called my buddy Bobby, who was screen printing. I said, let's run another one. The fun thing for me at first was just coming up with kind of colorways. Like, um, I used to be kind of a sneakerhead. So back in the day, I remember, you wanted to have, a pair of shoes that can match multiple outfits. So that was kind of a thing that I was, thinking on, as I'm kind of putting together colorways. What is kind of versatile, but also unique? Um, so that was the thought process early on. Just put that Walking Basket logo on a bunch of cool different color schemes and try and see how many people we can get wearing them on the course.
Now, past the initial excitement of people wanting to buy your T-shirts, how are you taking it, I guess, to the next level as far as people being aware of the brand?
Well, I've been pretty engaging on Instagram, I think, over the past year. The connections that I'm making there are very real, authentic. I think that keeps people kind of paying attention and coming back. Also, within my local community, I've been pretty active. I'm lucky to have a really good core group of members that show up to do coursework and drive tournaments. And I think that I'm one of those guys. So, in doing that and being out on the course, and I'm trying to support tournaments when I can through player packs or sponsoring holes and CTPs, and really just giving back to the community that's, sort of financially enabled me to do some of this, because at the end of the day, I'm putting out my own money and hoping that I make it back so that I can, push another run of merch. And it's been really cool to have a lot of people that support it from the jump. I mean, the logo is sick. I would buy it if it wasn't mine. So, that's easy. But also, a lot of people know that I mean what I'm doing. I really am trying to push the message of, positivity. And when you thought it should have been a birdie, remember that it could have been a bogey. Be happy with par. That's a metaphor that's bigger than just disc golf. So I think that's the thing for me. Is it's also flip side of that coin is it's made me hold up a mirror a lot and recognize that if this is what I'm preaching, I sure better live it, and I want to live it. So it's been really cool.
Nice. So what kind of a phase are you in right now as far as the brand? I saw you put out a new design, trying to kind of build. I think it's still in effect. You're trying to get some funds to go to Worlds, correct?
Yeah, so I actually just paid my invoice to the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I am officially going to be a vendor at Worlds.
Nice.
It's 100% happening. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I did kind of put out a new piece of art, I guess, if you will. And this is the Cooler Heads Prevail wave. So the Walking Basket is always going to be there. I really feel like that's the core logo for Happy with Par. The cooler heads prevail and the cool brain, the brain with sunglasses. That was something that came to me years ago as well, when I was in a band and I was kind of going through. I had some back issues there for a while. I actually had two spinal surgeries before I even turned 30.
Mm.
So living with kind of chronic pain was another little obstacle that I'd faced. And through that, this idea of cooler heads prevail really came through for me. Just, when times are tough, know that there is, a solution or an option to try and fix it. For me at the time, it was literally just when I wake up in the morning, my fingers are numb and I have this pinched nerve in and that's something that a lot of other people could relate to. I don't talk about that much, but
Yeah.
so yeah, when I was working on that and going to PT and stuff, this cooler heads prevail was something that I just kind of kept saying. And then I just thought of a brain wearing sunglasses because sunglasses are cool. And I was like, that's kind of badass. Um, so I'm working on the manufacturing line at the time, and while I was running some machinery, I drew that. I drew the brain with some sunglasses on it. I was like, this is pretty cool. And another friend who was in bands at the time was a tattoo artist, and I got it tattooed.
Oh, whoa.
That's all that it was for, was just for me at the time. Um, but yeah, through the Happy with Par thing, I just thought I wanted to bring that back. I thought that it was a cool idea. I wanted to bring it back and share it with other people. And so far, it's been, I think, been going over pretty well. Um, so yeah.
So, tell me some of the challenges you've had with this turning into just. Sounds like you just had some ideas for some graphics. Some people liked it. You thought, oh, well, maybe more people will like it. It seems like more people like it. It seems all exciting, like really cool. Like, wow, people really like it. But I would imagine there are also some challenges with trying to grow this brand. Talk about some of those.
Oh, I'm doing everything right
Yeah.
now. I mean, that's a challenge in itself. I post a lot of fun stuff on social media because that's, I think, the number one, or Instagram really. I've never done TikTok. Facebook is cool, but a little less engaging. But Instagram is just an awesome way to connect with people from everywhere. Dropping an 8-second reel that didn't take too long to make, and I can kind of rack up a series of those over the course of one round if I'm having fun with a buddy that's willing to hold a camera. Um, so that stuff's all really fun, but behind the scenes there, I have a website that I'm running. Like I'm honestly not the most tech savvy person. I grew up in the age of the internet, but like I didn't ever know how to run a website. So I, started watching some YouTube videos and figured, hey, Squarespace seems easy enough, and kind of regret Squarespace honestly because of just certain little shopping options,
Mm,
pre-orders, some certain sizing things, stuff like that. But anyway, you live and you learn. But I've
yeah.
got a website that I'm the photographer for, I guess. I mean, because I have to take pictures of the merch and then I have to post them. And then I'm fulfilling orders and I'm boxing orders in my basement. And I have a day job and I have a 3-year-old son and I have a
Mm,
partner. And so I mean, I've turned one thing, another piece of this is I'm one for sayings, and one saying that I always liked, it was a lyric from a song. This band Hot Chip says, "We take fun seriously," and that's
mhm.
kind of something that I've always tried to maintain as well. It does become a challenge when you take something as fun as your favorite sport and your creative outlet, and then turn it into this thing that is consuming the other half of your life. But um, I'm a dreamer, and I really do get caught up in the possibilities of what this could be. I don't know. I've been very much kind of keeping my face involved in it a lot. And I think for some, I definitely have heard some people be like, so is it about you or is it about the brand? And I don't know where I end and the brand begins sometimes because, like
Mm.
I said, I mean, this is as much for me as it is for anyone else. And I want to do podcasts and interviews. I mean, I'd like to drive them myself someday. Like I was telling you just before we went live, like I just bought this XLR mic and I'm trying
Hmm.
to, like revamp like a setup to make media.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit more money that I need to
Hmm.
funnel in. I need to figure out how to use this stuff. So Yeah, it's challenging being a one man operation, but I also don't think I'm built to take on like employees or anything. The biggest thing for me was like doing taxes last year. Like I kept track of everything in a very loose, unorganized manner, and then all of a sudden I had to go do taxes and like establish my QuickBooks in a week, and that was interesting.
Yeah, I hear you on that. My last year was my first full year of being self-employed, and it was scary, just the unknown of not doing it before, and then I did it, and then I remember the accountant that I had do it for me. He was like, "Hey, did you know you should be paying quarterly?" I'm like, "What? What do you
Yeah,
mean quarterly?" Like, yeah, and I'm like, "How do I know?" Well, you're supposed to estimate, and you're supposed to. And I'm like, "No, I didn't know all that. I didn't know this. Why would I
yeah.
know this?" So anyway, so I feel you on that front. So what is kind of what is the end goal with Happy with Par as far as merchandise? Give me, or do you even have it planned out? Or are you just kind of riding the wave?
Yeah, I'm kind of just riding the wave. I think my subconscious plan, because it's definitely been coming up more. I think maybe my subconscious plan has just been to grow this as big as I can until it becomes very clear that I can't handle it, and then cross that bridge when I get there. Um, the decision to go to Worlds was really kind of that was a spur of the moment kind of thing as well. My my partner and I and our son went on our first family road trip to Smuggler's Notch in 2021, I guess, or yeah, 2021. Um, and we kept saying that we wanted to go back. There's a lot for kids to do up at the family resort. So when we started looking into it, and I realized Worlds was literally going to be there, we decided to just go for it. Or she gave me her blessing, and I decided to just go for it. And yeah, once again, I think that this is a step in taking it as big as I possibly can. And then I'll cross the bridge where I get there. But I think the dream for me would be, um, you know, on a local level, I'm seeing it already. I'm sponsoring a lot of tournaments. You see a lot of people in my merch between my local community, the Delaware community, the bordering county community. Where you show up to Tournament Central for a players meeting, and there's probably 5 to 15 Happy with Par shirts and hats in the mix. That's a really cool thing for me to see. Um, Everybody here probably knows Birdie Disc Golf Supply. That's run by a guy, maybe half hour, 40 minutes from me. And when I first started playing in the local scene, it was everywhere. You see Birdie Disc Golf bumpers on the bottom of baskets everywhere. Um, I want that. I want that. I got to sponsor 9 holes at the Texas States. So what was that? The week after the Open, I believe. Um, so they actually have 9 courses from MPO to juniors, and I had my sign sponsoring 1 hole on each course. That was
Nice.
pretty cool. I saw a picture of like we saw videos of Eric Oakley and James Proctor playing practice rounds, and they're teeing off with the Happy with Par logo right next to them. And I got a picture of Calvin Heimberg teeing off with my logo, and it's that maybe that's a small goal to just see my logo out there, but that's really driving me and motivating me right now. So, yeah, I just want to be a reminder for fun across the entire disc golf community.
Now, as far as like, let's say we look 5 years down the road, are you seeing like just more apparel or discs, or I mean, what's the big picture there?
Yeah, I mean, I did my first run with Clash. Well, I've done a run of putters before with Gateway Disc Sports. People really seem to enjoy them. I did a 3 disc challenge with a bunch of discs that had some artwork on them that was really cool. I don't have one sitting right here. Um, but so I think I have a kind of cool marketing mind and art, the artwork thing. I like putting together the aesthetic. So I definitely think I'm going to be continuing to build more of that. And like I said, merch and apparel. So shirts, hats, socks, sweats, discs, who knows, earrings, like jewelry, like I don't know. I can see a little walking basket pendant looking awesome hanging from
Yeah.
some FPO players' ears.
Yeah.
So yeah, across the board, I don't know. I definitely don't want to put myself in a box by any means. Like I said,
Right.
I'd like to get more involved with some media work. I'd like to interview some players. The thing for me is, I really, really just like talking about the overlap of disc golf and mental health.
Mm.
I think that I think that mental health in general has been a really relevant topic in the world and in the news and in our media, especially since there's, I don't know, the political climate and COVID and just so many other things that we've run into. But yeah, we're starting to think about mental health a little bit more like dental health. And if you go get a checkup every 6 months on your teeth, you should get a check in on your thought process and how much pressure and stress you're carrying. And the game of golf, we know, or disc golf, we know a lot of people say this game has changed my life or saved my life or given me this outlet, and it has done that for me. And you know
Is
just
that
being open.
so? Is that something that you do on a normal basis? Kind of do a mental health check-in?
Bobby, I've been a head case for as long as I can remember, buddy. I yeah, I actually so I've been to therapists over the years. That's
Mhm.
something that I'm open about. I think that, it's important. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, you should. It's
Mhm.
not always easy to open up to family and friends and be completely vulnerable about things that they might have opinions about or this and that. So yeah, I definitely try to check in. I try to do a little bibliotherapy, do some reading, whether it's kind of self-help books or
Mhm.
I'm not I'm a very spiritual person, I'll say. So I think that any method of thinking or practice that leads you to a place that you think you're gaining something, like follow along with that. One thing that's been really cool for me is the Four Agreements. It's Toltecan wisdom. There's an author of the book. His name is Don Miguel Ruiz,
Mhm.
and let me think. The Four Agreements say to be impeccable with your word, always try your best, take nothing personally, and then the other one's escaping me at the moment. But those are kind of like umbrella thought processes. And as I'm as I'm facing these obstacles and this adversity in disc golf, and I'm learning how to live with myself and um, just live with or rework sort of that all or nothing thinking sometimes. That's given me something that it's a parallel in life and golf. So that's what this is for me. That's what the goal is for me. Bring the attention of other people to that. Maybe the game of golf is something that can benefit them as well. So
I literally, on my way to the gym and on my way back, I like to listen to podcasts and different podcasts to kind of get my brain going in the morning. And there's a podcast house, Order of Man. Have you ever heard of Order of Man?
yep, yeah, I have.
He just interviewed a guy named Matthew Vincent who literally talked about the four agreements that you brought up.
Yeah,
So as soon as you said that, I was like, whoa, wait, what? So yeah,
yeah.
it's be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions and always do your best.
Don't make
So
assumptions. That's what I was
yeah,
missing. And
yeah.
that's one that I make assumptions entirely too much. And so I actually have the Four Agreements written on my honey, on my proto honey,
Oh,
and
nice.
sometimes on the tee pad. I have to read them and I have to remind myself like that tree didn't do it on purpose. Don't take it personally. You know?
And yeah, the way he explained it made a lot of sense. A lot of things that people say or do, you don't you too many times we make assumptions what their intentions were behind those words or their actions, and then we take it personal. And a lot of times it's not really on us to take it personal. It's on that other person to figure out what's going on in their mind or whatever
Yep.
to work it out.
Yep.
So
Two
yeah,
things off of that I want to say
yeah,
really quick.
yeah,
Um, there's a saying about people being self-centered, right? Well, like literally, we are the center of our own universes. So to make everything about you is it's human, I think. It's like that's the easy thing to do is make it about you, to take it personally. But to break out of that and, recognize, like you said, that everybody's kind of we're all living our own experience and nothing is happening to you because the universe wants to knock you down. Sometimes there's just a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But
great.
and the other piece to that I was going to say is, another saying that I absolutely despised for a really long time was happiness is a choice. But
Mm,
ultimately, I mean, you control what you think about. So whether it's being stuck in traffic and now you're just harping on the fact that you're stuck in traffic and you need to get somewhere, that sucks. But what are you gonna do?
yeah,
Click that brain to think about a project that you're working on, or how much you can't wait to hold your kid, dog, cat, lizard when you get home.
yeah.
I don't know, like I said, that was a tough pill for me to swallow for a while, and it was way before disc golf. But happiness is a choice. What you think about is yours to control, and that can be on the course or not. So
Yeah, it definitely comes down to a matter of perspective, and that's
mhm.
basically what it is. You're changing your perspective on your circumstances, so that's great. Anthony, thank you so much. It was great learning more about you, learning more about Happy with Par, and then thank you for indulging me and talking about some of the disc golf topics going on late. So that's really cool. So just as a reminder, really quick, tell people how they can follow your story online.
Yeah, I'm most active on Instagram at happywithpar.dg, and then I'm on Facebook, Happy with Par, and check out the website, happywithpar.com, if you're interested in picking up any merch.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, Bobby.